President Trump taking aim at Democratic California Senator Dianne Feinstein because she's the one who put out the Fusion GPS testimony over the objections and rules of the Judiciary Committee chairman. The president tweeted this morning, quote, "The fact that sneaky Dianne Feinstein, who has on numerous occasions stated that collusion between Trump and Russia has not been found, would release testimony in such an underhanded and possibly illegal way, totally without authorization, is a disgrace, must have tough primary." Well, joining me now, Republican Congressman from Florida, Francis Rooney, Vice Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, great to have you with us. What do you make of Senator Feinstein releasing unilaterally that document?
Well, it's highly unprecedented, and I don't know whether it's illegal or not.
Yeah.
But you know, the irony there is that she said she did it because the investigation was undermined. But the fact of the matter is, she just undermined it a whole lot more and put out a lot more dots. The more of which you connect, the worse this thing looks.
Well, it is curious right now in Washington, where you have a number of people. They mean exactly the opposite of what they say. A very, very complex game is being played here. The president said it, in my opinion, absolutely correctly. Right now, we are watching the greatest witch hunt in American history. 5 congressional committees. We have, in addition to that, of course, the FBI and the special counsel. We've tallied up the amount of investigative time here. It's 6.5 years of total investigative time have been spent in looking for some sign of collusion, and there is no evidence yet. Yet the Speaker of the House, the Republican Speaker, the Republican Majority Leader of the Senate, Congressman, they will not stand with the president and say, end it now, because it's stupid, it's wasteful, and it is certainly acting in the exact opposite of the interest of the nation.
It certainly is, and in fact, Lou, the more they dig, the worse it gets for them. Now, what we keep finding out is more and more unaccountable, partisan, deep state behavior, people that think the end justifies the means, and that's not what we should expect out of our civil service. And I tell you, these dots keep connecting up. I think this is worse than Watergate for them.
I think it's worse than Watergate right now for the country, because this is an instance in which, without any evidence, a special counsel was brought to bear against a duly elected president of the United States. And without evidence, after all of these committees, the FBI, the special counsel's investigation, as I said, 6.5 years of investigative time, they continue to hound this president to frustrate his policies, his administration, and do so with the complicity of the left-wing media and, as you say, the deep state, as well as the establishments of both political parties.
Well, if you want to talk about criminality, let's talk about Project Cassandra, where President Obama pulled the DEA off of Hezbollah just to satisfy Iran. Let's talk about Hillary Clinton's emails and now Huma Abedin's emails. From what I understand, releasing classified documents or taking them out of a classified facility doesn't require intent.
Correct. And it also, extreme carelessness is a synonym for, frankly, gross negligence, which is actionable in and of itself. The semantic game was immaterial to whether or not charges should have been brought. They should have been brought.
Yeah, when you connect the dots that it was the agent Strozak that came up with that recommendation to Comey to reduce the description of Hillary Clinton's behavior, he's the one that had the, quote, insurance to keep President Trump from getting elected that they discussed in a high-ranking DOJ's official's office.
Yet it is the special counsel going after this president, his administration, and the Republican leadership, frankly, doing no better than the Democratic leadership, because they will not stand up and say it is enough and it has to end now. Do you think they'll ever find the guts, the integrity to do so?
Well, I hope so. I thought Senator Grassley stepped up last week.
Right.
I think that Chairman Nunes stepped up last week. Hopefully, Attorney General Sessions is going to get in the game and do some serious internal review of what's going on in the deep state.
Yeah, one can only hope that the Attorney General will awaken Thank you very much, Congressman. We appreciate you being here.